Welcome to the Stoic Tide. Silence is louder than words. When you go quiet, she doesn't just notice it, she feels it in her chest, in her thoughts, in the spaces between every notification that doesn't come. And here's the brutal truth. When you stop talking, that's when she starts thinking the most. Welcome back to the Stoic Tide. Today, we're going to unravel the unseen psychology behind silence. What truly happens in her mind when you go quiet, when you stop chasing, when you reclaim your energy. Because once you understand this, you'll never beg for attention again. This is not manipulation. This is mastery. It's about self-respect and the quiet power that makes the world lean in when you pull away. So breathe. Stay with me. Let's begin. Part 1. Her ego speaks before her heart when you go silent. The first thing that gets shaken isn't her heart, it's her ego. See? Most women live in a constant storm of attention. Messages, likes, glances, compliments for many. Attention isn't a luxury. It's the background noise of life, like air conditioning, always there, humming in the background until it stops. When you, the man who once gave that attention, suddenly go quiet, that silence hits her like a blackout. The world feels colder, quieter, and the first voice she hears isn't longing. It's her ego. Why hasn't he called? Did he forget me? Or worse, does he not want me anymore? At first, she'll laugh it off. She'll post something online, maybe with a caption about living her best life. She'll act unbothered. But beneath that polished surface, her pride trembles, because silence feels like rejection wrapped in mystery, and the ego hates mystery. It hates uncertainty. It hates not being in control. That's why silence is so powerful, because it doesn't argue, it doesn't justify, it just exists. And in that quiet, her confidence begins to question itself. See, rejection that's loud can be explained, but silence? Silence forces her to fill in the blanks, and the mind always fills silence with stories. That's when her thoughts start circling back to you, not because of love, but because her ego can't stand being ignored. You're no longer fighting for her attention. Her ego is fighting for yours, and that's how silence begins its quiet war. Part 2. She tests your patience. Don't expect her to come running right away. Silence unsettles her, but it also challenges her. And when a woman feels challenged, she tests. She'll test your patience. She'll test your strength. She'll test if your silence is real. Or just a performance. How? By trying to break it. She might delay her replies. She might post pictures designed to get a reaction. Maybe she'll even flirt with someone else. Not because she's moved on, but because she's watching. Watching to see if you'll lose control. And here's the thing. Most men fail this test. They see her post something. Their pride starts screaming. Their fingers start shaking over the keyboard. And before they know it, they're sending a paragraph that starts with, "I just wanted to say." And just like that, the silence shatters. The power returns to her side. But the man who passes this test, he doesn't panic, he doesn't chase, he doesn't play the game, he just stays silent, calm, grounded, and the calm drives her crazy because she expected you to fold. Every other man did, but you didn't. You stood in the storm, and that's when she starts whispering to herself, "Why isn't this working on him? What makes him different? What does he have that I don't understand?" That's the moment your silence turns from confusion into intrigue, from distance into desire. Real men don't prove their worth with words. They prove it with composure. Silence, when mastered, is not emptiness. It's evidence of control. Part 3. Curiosity turns into obsession. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. Silence creates a vacuum, and the human brain hates vacuums. When you stop talking, she can't stop thinking. Her mind starts running loops. At first, it's just curiosity. Why isn't he texting me? But then the silence stretches. Hours turn into days. Days turn into questions. And questions turn into obsession. Because curiosity is a seed, and silence is the soil that makes it grow wild. Late at night, when her phone is quiet and her mind is loud, she starts to imagine, is he with someone else? Has he forgotten me? Did I mean anything at all? And here's where silence becomes dangerous. because her imagination paints a version of you more powerful than the real you ever was. In her mind, you become the mystery, the man who doesn't need her, the calm she can't figure out. And imagination is always louder than reality. Your silence forces her to romanticize you. It's not manipulation, it's psychology. Because the truth is, women don't miss men, they miss how men make them feel. When you go silent, she doesn't just miss your presence, she misses the emotion you gave her. And since you're not there to remind her of your flaws, her memory edits you into perfection. You become the echo she can't mute. That's why silence is more powerful than any message, because imagination can't be blocked. Part 4. She replays the past when you go silent long enough. Her mind hits rewind. She starts remembering the laughs, the moments, the words. Even the small arguments take on new meaning. She replays it like a film she can't stop watching. And here's the irony. The longer the silence, the more romantic the memories become, because time softens edges. It makes the good moments glow and the bad moments blur. When you're silent, she stops comparing you to reality and starts comparing you to memory, and memory always wins. Now she's walking through her day and everything reminds her of you. A song, a smell, a street, a phrase. It's everywhere. And you? You didn't text. You didn't call. You didn't beg. You just let silence do the talking. And silence is persuasive because it's the only voice she can't argue with. Part 5. She starts comparing you to other men. Now something shifts. Your silence doesn't just make her remember you. It makes her see everyone else differently. Other men text here. They flatter her. They try to impress her, and for the first time, she notices how common that attention feels. Because attention is cheap, but your silence, your calm distance, is rare. And rarity creates value. Every message she gets from someone else only reminds her of you, the one who didn't send one. Humans don't crave what's abundant. They crave what's scarce. Your silence turns you from one of many to one of one, and slowly, her thoughts shift from, why isn't he texting me, to why can't I stop thinking about him? That's how the mind works. It chases what it can't have. It respects what it can't control. You've stopped being available. You've become rare, and rarity always wins. Part 6. She questions her own value. This is where the silence starts cutting deep. At first, it was her ego, then curiosity, then obsession. But now, it gets personal because now she starts questioning herself. Am I not good enough for him? Did I lose my touch? Has he found someone better? Those thoughts don't just sting, they sink, because every woman deep down fears one thing, being replaceable. And your silence presses right on that nerve. When you stop giving her what she's used to, your attention, your energy, your validation, she feels the absence not as rejection, but as loss of power. And that's what keeps her up at night. She might post more selfies, fish for compliments, even act louder online. But none of it fills the void your silence left behind, because it's not attention she wants, it's yours. And here's where most men mess up. They break the silence too soon. They rush in to reassure her. But a Stoic man knows her discomfort is not your problem. It's your confirmation. When she starts questioning her value, that's when the scales finally tip. That's when she starts chasing you. Part 7. Respect replaces resistance, and now, the transformation is complete. What began as irritation turns into intrigue. What began as curiosity turns into desire, and what began as resistance turns into respect. See, she might not admit it, but silence shows her something words never could. Your discipline. It takes strength to stay quiet when every part of you wants to reach out. It takes power to stay grounded when emotion screams for attention, and women respect power, not the loud, performative kind, but the calm, unshakable kind. Your silence says what words can't. I'm not controlled by emotion. I'm not desperate for approval. I'm centered. And that kind of man, the one who doesn't fold, doesn't chase, doesn't flinch, is the man she remembers. Because silence isn't emptiness. It's dominance in disguise. When resistance fades, what replaces it isn't guilt, it's respect. And respect is the root of real attraction, because lust fades, infatuation fades, but respect, that stays. And once she respects you, the game changes forever. Silence is not about manipulation, it's about mastery. It's not about ignoring someone to punish them, it's about valuing yourself enough to protect your peace. When you go silent, you're not disappearing, you're evolving, you're teaching her and yourself the power of control. Remember, words can lie, actions can be faked, but silence is undeniable. It speaks in the language of strength. It says, I am unbothered, I am whole, I am not waiting to be chosen. I have already chosen myself. That's what the Stoic Tide is about. Stillness, power, presence. When you master those, the world bends quietly around you. If this message hit you, if you felt something stir inside you, comment below and say, I choose silence, because silence isn't the absence of sound. It's the presence of control. Like this video if it reminded you of your worth. Subscribe to the Stoic Tide for more wisdom on emotional discipline, masculine calm, and the art of self-mastery. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who's been giving their peace away too easily.